Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good day to everyone. My name is Annajwa and I will be moderating in today's discussion on a highly important and timely subject. We are going to overview and cast analyst the killing of Shireen Abu Akleh. Before we start, I would like to thank our literature, the Honorable Ma'am Dr. Vita Cita. Thank you very much for giving us this opportunity to present our work on this overview. Without further ado, I want to introduce my group. First, we have Raissa Aimee, and then me, Annajwa, and then Kristen Delonsi, Irene Santa, and Fransisca Margaretha. Okay, without further ado, I would like, let's go straight to the delivery of today's material, which will be opened by Raissa Aimee. Aimee, the time is yours.
Thank you, Annajwa. Okay, what is this case about? This case is about the UN-mandated inquiry into the death of Shireen Abu Akleh concluded that Israeli forces used lethal force without justification when they shot and killed the Al Jazeera journalist during a military raid in the Jenin refugee camp in May 2022. The identification of parties. The first one is the victim. Victim is Shireen Abu Akleh, the journalist. The second is offender, the Israeli forces. Third is location in Gaza, the Jenin refugee camp in the north of occupied West Bank. And fourth is time in May 11, 2022 at 6:30 a.m. And the fifth is parties involved. UN, US investigation, Al Jazeera, the television network based in Qatar. The chronology of the incident is at precisely 7:40 a.m. on Wednesday, May 11, 2022 in Al Jazeera, Shireen Abu Akleh was shot by Israeli Defense Force while covering the incursion and raid on Jenin camp. Additionally, there was a question that Israeli forces obstructed ambulance from reaching Abu Akleh. Ali Samodi, a fellow journalist who was with her, was shot in the back but survived. He later stated that Abu Akleh had been cold-bloodedly killed, that the IDF continued shooting while she lay on the ground. The problem formulation is Shireen was shot dead in the head while doing her job, covering the Israeli military attack in Jenin, an occupied West Bank. There was no battle in the area where she was shot. This case has triggered a call of accountability and justice for various parties. Identification of legal problem. The first one is material issues. Hague Convention for 1907 of War on Land, Article 13. Second one is Geneva Convention. The third, 1948, for protection of prisoners, Article 4A, Section 4. The third is additional protocol first to the Geneva Convention 1977, Article 79, include the Article 14, Paragraph 1, Article 4A, Section 4 of the Third Convention, and obtain an identity card similar to the model in Annex 2 of this protocol. Next is Annajwa.
All right. Next is the identification of the problems. First, we're going to focus on the procedural issues. As we know, around 7 a.m., when Al Jazeera's crew with Shireen and other 5 journalists, they already followed the protocol, the procedural to be in a zone in conflict between Palestinian and Israel. They already wear the press vest and they also wore a helmet. Even though they already followed the procedure, they would still got shot, especially Shireen. Even though they followed the procedure correctly, they still was shot. Next, we're going to the formal issues. Right, Abu Akleh, even though Abu Akleh was wearing the vest already, wearing press, and formally, this should afford her protection under international humanitarian law issues, which prohibits attacks on civilian journalists in conflict zones unless they directly participate in hostiles. The claim that she was deliberately targeted, as suggested by some investigations, could indicate a violation of these protections. From a formal legal perspective, there are debates around whether international rigorous standards were met. For example, in the cases involving journalists in conflict zones, international law provides specific protection under the Geneva Conventions. However, the formal documentation and reports from Israel did not fully satisfy calls from international bodies and media organizations for accountability. Next, my partner, continue.
Thank you. The killing of Shirin Abu Akleh by Israeli forces violated essential legal norms and human rights principles. Journalists play a crucial role in informing the public about conflicts, and their deaths undermine the freedom and ethical standards. Targeting journalists during war infringed on their right to live, freedom of expression, and the public's right to information. Particularly in conflict zones like Palestine and Israel, these rights are protected by international human rights instruments, including the UDHR and ICCPR. Interpretation: Shirin Abu Akleh, a journalist, was killed while covering a story, with evidence suggesting it was targeted shooting by Israeli forces. Bullet analysts confirm it matched the M4 ammunition used by Israeli snipers, specifically designed to penetrate body armor. Another journalist, Ali Samadi, who was shot survived, stated that she was cold-bloodedly shot, contradicting Israeli ministers Naftali Bennett's claims that the Palestinians were responsible for her death. Despite clear evidence and eyewitnesses' accounts, Israel continues to shift the blame onto Palestinians. Next is my friend.
Thank you, Irene. Israel military is now considering the possibility that one of the soldiers shot Shirin. However, past self-investigations have rarely resulted in accountability. For instance, in 2014, an Israel airstrike killed 4 children in Gaza, which Israel labeled as an accident despite eyewitness accounts. Similarly, earlier this year, a 70-year-old Omar Asad died after being detained by Israeli forces, but the only consequence for the soldiers involved was a 2-year ban from command positions, with no jail time or external investigations. Journalists have also been targeted despite wearing press gear, like Ahmed Abu Hussein and Yasser Mortaj in 2018 and Shirin in 2022. Her death is a profound loss, and to honor her legacy, we must commit to reporting the truth about life under Israeli occupation. Next will be my friends.
Okay, there are many legal solutions. The first, global society must pay attention to this unresolved case and urge the ICC to investigate truly to ensure justice for the harmed parties. Second, the UN, as the leading international organization advocating human rights, should also participate given the violation of international convention involved. And third, additionally, individuals can help by signing petitions, analyzing the situation, and raising awareness through campaigns, especially to protect journalists in conflict areas. Next. And for the conclusion, Shirin Abu Akleh, an Al Jazeera journalist, was shot in the head while covering an Israeli attack on Jenin refugee camp in the West Bank on May 11, 2022, The UN has urged the Israeli government to cooperate with the US in investigating her death to provide evidence for the ICC. Israeli forces were implicated in her killing, as Abu Akleh and her colleagues were wearing market crash gear in non-combat zone. This incident violates international law, including the Hague Convention for 1907 and the Geneva Convention, which protect journalists and civilians.
Thank you so much. That is all from our group. As we have come to the end of today's discussion and representation, I want to thank everyone for their contributions to this important discussions. Here is, in the next slide, is our sources. All right, and this is this is our documentations on our progress on doing these assignments. Thank you so much for the attention. See you next time. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.